Camera gear can cost too much, too fast, but fortunately, you can still get some great accessories and tools to keep you shooting and creating with ease. Although it's too early for Black Friday and Christmas deals, thanks to Amazon Prime Day, you can really have a taste of Christmas in July. What kind of gear do they have? Let me show you. Alright, so some computer accessories to consider. We got the USB-C docking station here from Moken. So for $25 less, we got 5 USB-A ports, 2 USB-C ports, a micro SD card, an SD card slot, a VGA port, 2 HDMI ports, and an Ethernet port. If you're considering getting a MacBook Pro or MacBook Air or already have one, these things are a lifesaver. Okay, next up we got a 90-watt USB-C charger. This one's got 3 USB-A ports and 3 USB-C ports. Especially if you have a newer phone or you're planning to get newer phones that only have the USB-C dock or the USB-C port, this will come in handy. For $33 less, you got quick charging on not just your new devices, but also your older devices that don't use USB-C. Alright, audio. If you are new to the audio world and you don't know any of these brands, Shure has a couple of deals here. You got different variations of the Shure MV7. Some of these are XLR mics, some of these are also USB mics, which are just easy to use into your computer, or if you are using some kind of audio interface where you're using XLR, you got a podcast, or maybe you just have a normal YouTube video like this and you actually want to have good sounding audio, these are not bad options. One thing to know is that only one of these has a microphone stand, so if you're considering to get the other deals, you gotta look for a microphone stand. Another thing to consider for our audio department is these speakers from JBL. JBL makes great products, and for up to 40% off, you can get one of these JBL speakers, Bluetooth and waterproof by the way, and you get to have fun during the summer. You got the very popular JBL Flip here, and that's pretty big, but if you're a little bit noise conscious, you can go even for the JBL Go 3. So, we're checking it. Alright, be truthful with me guys. Do you think you have enough memory cards? Well, you got a lot of options from Lexar here, especially for those of you who are a little bit more advanced or shooting with cameras like the A7S III and need like faster cards like the V60 cards. Lexar's a pretty good buy here. For the beginners out there, if you're just shooting photos and not too much video, I highly recommend 64 gigabytes or at least 2 of them. That'll be good for you, whether or not you have dual SD card slots or you just need one as a backup. However, if you're starting to shoot more video, especially 4K, I highly recommend getting 2 128 gigabyte cards. And if you're really like recording long sessions or long weddings, whatever the event may be in one continuous recording, or you just want to have everything on one card, 256 is the way to go. However, if you can help it, I much prefer getting 128 gigabyte cards because it has lesser risk of losing everything that you're shooting for the day. So instead of losing everything on a 256 gigabyte card, you can at least have 2 128 gigabyte cards and maybe you lose memory on one. That's just a pro tip, but Lexar is a well-established and well-renowned company for the memory storage department. So you can definitely trust and have confidence in these cards. Alright, so besides your SD cards, another thing you want to consider is getting external hard drives. Here we got some external hard drives from Toshiba. If you think you're really not going to be taking too many photos and videos throughout the year, maybe 1 terabyte is good enough for you. Personally, I like to err on the side of caution and get 2 terabytes. If you have a desktop or even a laptop that doesn't have that much memory, please use an external storage. It will help you greatly because you can just save all your photos and videos that which add up fast in memory. I mean, ask your mom and dad, look at their phone, they have lots of it. If you don't buy these drives for you, buy it for them and then teach them how to offload these things onto their external hard drive. And if they're using a Mac, I have a video over here on how to transfer the iPhone photos and videos directly to your external hard drive. So it never has to take up or clog up the memory storage in the Mac. And the last but not least of these memory storage solutions is a flash drive. Perhaps you got a flash drive that is still 2.0 and is transferring files back and forth at a very slow rate. Time for you to upgrade to 3.0. For $26 you can get 64 gigabyte, or for about $36 you can get 128 gigabytes. For me, I typically carry a flash drive on my person whenever I need to just transfer files last minute. So if you don't already have a flash drive or need one that's a little bit faster, try getting these. Lighting. Alright, first up we got the newer CB60. For $29 less, you get a light stand, the light, and a softbox to go along with your lighting system. Over here to my left, I have the Aperture 120D, which is much more powerful than the newer here, but I tell you, this is only at 50%. And I've used some similar product called the Godox SL60, and that was already good enough for a continuous light and to light me up. If you're into making content, a light like this would be pretty solid for you without having to break the bank. Alright, next up we got the JVM 850D. This particular light kit has LEDs that are also RGBs. So I have the Aperture 120D off to my left, and then on my right I have the JVM 800D bouncing off the wall and splashing blue on my studio or into my shot. For $76 less, you can use these lights and set up a 3-point system or 3-point lighting. So you can have your key just like it is here. You can have a fill, which is like on this side, and bounce something off the wall, bounce the light off the wall. And you can also have something in the back here to kind of light you from behind. Or if you got a C-stand or something, maybe you can mount something up above, like you can see on this orange right above me. These kinds of lights for these price, great recommend. Okay, so if you're still kind of confused about the last two lights and you're not sure which one to get, maybe this one may or may not sway some things for you. Alright, for our third light kit, we have the HPUSN light kit. If you're just starting out and you still don't know what you want to shoot, whether it's photography or videography, this is something that you also might want to consider. So for $55 off, you get 4 lights, a backdrop kit which has black, white, and a green cloth that you can use for your backdrop. But of course, if you buy other backdrops, you can hang that there as well. Then you got some clamps and the stands to go with lights. Although these lights are not RGB and they're nothing fancy and they're just soft white lights, I still highly recommend for the beginner, and I definitely recommend this over a ring light. Just because any of the lights that you get in this kit, it looks more cinematic when you look into the eyes. By the way, if any of these deals look attractive to you, if you don't already have it, consider signing up for a free trial of Amazon Prime through the link in the description down below. Alright, for you Sony shooters out there, we have a discount on the Sony 35mm f1.8. Now this is for the crop body system. If you're in the market for a lens like this, on Prime Day for $100 less, you can get the 35mm, which indeed has a OSS built in, which is optical steady shot. And if you don't already know what it means, when you use this lens with your Sony body, whether or not it has IBIS or in-body stabilization built into it, it'll make your shots look smoother, especially when you're handheld and you're shooting video. Sigma already has a 30mm f1.4, which can stop down a little bit lower on the aperture or open up wider on the aperture, but it is not optically stabilized in the lens. So if that's something that interests you, consider the Sony 35mm f1.8. Alright mobile shooters, here we got a deal for you. It's the Xeon Smooth 4. Whether or not you have like these newer iPhones or newer Samsungs that have like stabilization built into their cameras, if you've never used a stabilizer like this, it's a 3-axis gimbal. And this 3-axis gimbal allows you to be able to orient your phone in whatever position or angle that you want and still have things steady. So if you're like going on a hike, it's gonna be stable. You don't have to worry about things wobbling like crazy, or you want to do like a side to side kind of slider shot, you can do that. It'll be perfect for whatever chips that you have this summer. And for the Xeon Smooth 4, you can get this for $19 off. Normally I don't look at camera buys when it comes to these Amazon Prime Day deals, but this one is actually pretty noteworthy, and this is the Panasonic Lumix S5. This was just recently released by Panasonic as a full frame camera with in-body stabilization, has a flip screen, and shoots 4K 60, which means it has a potential for you to go and slow things down in post so that it looks slow motion. I'm so shocked at the kind of deal that this thing has. If you're trying to go into full frame and you're not dedicated to any brand, this is a camera to consider. Now, generally Panasonic cameras are more video centric, but this also has photo capabilities. I'm just surprised at how rich the feature list is, but it's under $2,000. A camera like this usually costs over $2,000, which it is, but for Amazon Prime Day, it actually is a pretty good deal. The same thing applies if you get the bundle with the 20 to 60mm, you get a $500 discount off of that, and it's still under $2,000. Let me tell you, as someone who's shooting APS-C or a crop sensor for a long time, once you go full frame, it's kind of hard to go back. You get that shallow depth of field, more light into your sensor. So good. Now, if these kinds of cameras are not really up your alley and you're actually trying to upgrade to the more cinematic quality, we got the Panasonic Lumix BS1H. This is not for the faint of heart because you still gotta get things like a monitor, the lens, and everything else to kind of make it work and make it usable. But if you know what you're doing, you can get up to 6K 24 frames per second on this thing. Even if you're not shooting movies or short films, a camera like this is special because you have unlimited recording and the quality is just whew. But I mean, if you already got the gear to get it set up and going, why not? But what did you guys think of my list? Did I miss any deals? If so, let us know down in the comments for the rest of us to check out. Thanks again for watching. I'm Mike, reminding you to go out there and shoot for the life that matters. See ya!